Ladies and gentlemen, we have just had a small update go live onto No Man's Sky. Currently it is just on PC, but it will be rolling out to all the platforms in due course. Now this was just a small update, and we'll get into what that update did include in just a small moment. But still remember, this is unprecedented, because we've never even had a small update, patch update, nothing of the sort in January, and that's very important. Things are still going completely against the grain, and like I said, I think this is just the start of it. But more on all of this in just a moment. But first of all, let's go over what was included in this latest patch. Okay, so here's the list, and you can see that this was released January the 3rd, which was yesterday as of this recording. And it goes on to say, hello everybody, and thank you to everyone playing the No Man's Sky Holiday Expeditions 2023 update, especially those taking the time to report any issues they encounter via Zendesk or console crash reporting. That's also another thing you can do, which is really good they have included that here, because most people would just go directly to Zendesk and not just report through the console crash itself. So that's actually quite a handy thing to put in. But anyway, I digress. We are listening closely to your feedback and have identified and resolved a number of issues. These fixes are now included in the patch 4.48, which is now live on Steam and will be coming to other platforms as soon as possible. So that's what we just said there. Right now, only available on Steam, but it will be coming out to your Xbox and your PlayStations and so on in due course, essentially. So here are the bug fixes, and I'll tell you why this might be a small indication of what's coming, but again, we'll get into that in just a second. So bug fixes: fix an issue that could cause decals to render black on macOS. Fixed an issue that could cause the etched in glass milestone not to display its instructional notification message, and fixed a rare crash that could occur in multiplayer. Now, those are fine, brilliant patches. I'm glad they're done. I'm glad that's all patched. But have you noticed something? So first of all, straight away, this has been released in January. Again, never happened before. And it goes to show that the team are working on No Man's Sky content. So what I can take away from this is that the team are working very hard currently on the 2024 version of No Man's Sky and all of its releases, and this is literally just the tip of the iceberg. Now, they release this in January. I reckon now, and again, mark my words on this, within the next 7 to 10 days, give or take, and I think it's going to be now in the middle of the month, or going into the middle of this month, should I say, that we will get another update, whether that just be through Steam DB and we'll see it on the internal branch first, or we may even get an emoji. But I still think January still has a surprise left in store. And I do also believe that a bigger update soon and a small update now, as the title of this video suggests. So we've had the small update, fantastic, a few bug fixes, but the bigger update is still to come. Now, like I said, middle of this month is when I suspect we should start seeing movement, if not an emoji, something that's very exciting. And then kind of like forecasting, if you will, just a little bit. You then got February, and we always know that there's an update in February, and that's going through the patterns that have gone for the last, 5-6 years like clockwork, and it's happened every month in February. We always get some sort of major update. Now, that brings me on to like a prediction side of things here. If we take what's already happened a little bit this month with the smaller patch updates and going through the usual cycle of No Man's Sky content, knowing that February is when a major update is released, then we can kind of make a small prediction forecast. So this is how I see the first part of the year, so let's call it the first 6 months of 2024 for No Man's Sky. This is what I'm kind of suspecting. I'm also going to add on as well everything from what Mr. Murray said with like all the latest news from him about trying to get everything done with No Man's Sky in this year with like lots of new updates. So we need to account for that as well. But this is where I think we're going to go. I reckon in January we are going to see a few smaller patch updates, but we will get a main one, and I reckon that's going to come within the first 10 to 20 days of January. So we still got some time yet, but I reckon we will hear something more substantial soon. Going into February, we know by going off a previous, and this is going directly off of the usual model. February is when we will get a big update surrounded by the big update first and then the smaller patch updates, because they release the big update, smaller patch updates to fix what they've just released. That's usually the way it goes. Now, in March, I reckon we'll see mainly smaller patch updates, but not so much major updates, but I reckon we'll get smaller content updates. Maybe just, you know, a few new pieces of items that we can use, some decals, something along the lines of that. I don't think it's going to be too massive in March, but I reckon they'll just start drip feeding us things now to tide us over until April. April, I think, is going to be a fantastic month for No Man's Sky. I reckon that's when they're going to drop another bombshell of absolute dreamy and beautiful big label content. So that's going to be, you know, maybe something to do with the space station covers. That's maybe going to be something to do with the autophages. So I reckon that's all going to come around about the April time. And then obviously you got May and June taking us then up to that 6 months, first half of 2024. And I reckon again it's going to be another busy kind of period where we'll see big content drops, we'll see smaller content drops, and a lot of patch fixes to go with it. But I mean, that's just by going off of previous patterns, going off what Mr. Murray has already said, that this year they're really going to be fixing all the loose ends with No Man's Sky especially. Now again, going back to what's literally just happened right now with the small update drop in January, which has never freaking happened. I can't say that enough. This has never happened. This is why this is such a big deal. So even though, yes, we all thought it might be something juicy because this is what Mr. Murray teased us with in the trailer, but nonetheless, I think it was the case of a small update now, much bigger update soon. And I reckon we're only a week or two away from that. So let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section down below. What do you think is going to happen? And if you had to make a prediction, what is your 6 month kind of prediction? Let me know what you think is coming out between now and June. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, comment section down below. And as always, my name is Professor Cynical, and I'll catch you all again in the next one. Bye for now.